Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back yet again to TGN Racing Simulators. We're back again with the Pro Series. We were with you last week with the Pro-Am Series, and I'm sure that was streamed just in terms of the overall broadcast. But we're here today with the live comms for the Pro Division, and things are shortly about to get started. My name is Tristan Earps, joining you here in the commentary box, and boy, oh boy, I think it's going to be a great day today of racing indeed. We've got a lot of guys coming back from last year's event. As you know, the TGN Pro Series is indeed a yearly event. So it happens. It's one season every single year, essentially, and so that is what the drivers have been fixed with. But we head to a new season here. 2026 is upon us indeed, and we've got a couple of new drivers who are here and ready to take the track by an absolute storm. But we are officially ready to go for our qualifying session as we see the drivers now coming out onto the track. A couple of them are already pulling out onto the trackside, as you can see. It is going to be the same touring cars as last time that we saw out on track. And same old. The Cupras are here, the Hyundais are here, the Toyotas, the Hondas. And I was having a bit of a chat with the drivers down on the floor slightly earlier before the race started. And from what most of them were telling me, it seems like the most common pick for this season has been the Cupra Leon. So a car not oftenly picked last time around, but it has been favored this time around. So we'll have to see how it goes for most of the drivers here, picking that Cupra Leon, as we now see the drivers still all coming out to get that qualifying lap. JP Goslet, a new driver, I believe from Cape Town or from Durban. He's not here in the Johannesburg branch. A couple of familiar faces though. Michael de Kock is here. He's ready to take it by storm. Omar Khan, one of the drivers who quite up there in terms of championship standings in last season's racing. He's quite up there now again, and we'll have to see what he can do. But it is round number one at Killarney Raceway, one of the more shorter tracks in South Africa compared to in terms of physical. In terms of physical corners, you can see they're 3.35 kilometers in distance, but there's only 6 corners to feature here at this race circuit. So it is a very limited amount from what we see to the likes of Kailami or something bigger along the lines. So that is what we've been thrown with. But for the time being, we do have the fastest lap that has been so far set. It is JP Goslet, who sets a 133.694, as we see Tolo in the TikTok virtual grandstand saying, "This is great, guys, awesome setup. Thank you so much. We're going to continue to push around, and we're attempting the TikTok thing. We're primarily streaming on Twitch and YouTube. That's going to be where you'll see a couple more overlays coming into play. But TikTok will be slightly more limited. You're not going to see any of the intermission screens, but we're definitely still bringing the racing to you live in action. Apologies if you do see a little bit of stream stuttering. We're still working things out for round number one, and we'll hope to have things fixed for round number two, that we head to Donington Park next time around, which is, quite frankly, one of my favorite circuits of racing, especially in the GT3 class, but obviously this time around will be in the touring cars. The GTCs over here, as we see Gio Sekia, one of the drivers who was competing for that championship lead in last year's TGN Pro Series, now tops it off with a 113.556. And about 4 tenths faster than Kitsuma Gia, who now gets overtaken yet again. Michael de Kock will push himself up to third. Oratile Motsogotsele comes across, though, in second position. Great move from him to move up, and I believe we have Oratile on cams. Seems like his cam is frozen again, unfortunately. There we have Mr. Sean Norse. He is currently out on track, so we've got a couple of cams for you, and unfortunately, like I mentioned with TikTok, the cams you will not be seeing here today, just due to the fact that it's a slightly more limited setup that it allows us. That we've got to play with, so apologies about that one. But Sean Norse, indeed, there he is in 10th position currently in his pink Cupra Leon, and trying to hold it out on track. We've got a couple of other drivers with some cameras, I believe. If we go to our 8th camera, there we have one of our newer drivers. It is Mr. Session Govender, who sits down in 16th position currently, trying to hold himself as best he can. This is either Session or Tevin. Unfortunately, not 100% sure. I should have gone and double-checked. I'll check that after the race, as there are 2 new drivers, and I'm not familiar with either of them just as of yet. We do have a couple more cameras to show for. As I mentioned, 5 is non-operational for the time being. There's Mr. Ethan McDougall, one of the fan favorites from last season, and he'll be racing around track. He hasn't joined the server just as of yet. He's one of the TGN admins, and so his task is to ensure that every other driver is 100% comfortable. They are ready to go, and then he gets to jump in and attempt a practice swing. But for a couple of other drivers, we've got Mr. Kitsomajia, one of the faster drivers in the Pro Series from last year, and he currently sits top of the podium there, sorry, at the backside of the podium in P3. So we'll have to see how that goes for him. But Mr. Kitsomajia, very, very fast indeed as well, choosing that Cooper Leon. So we'll see how that goes for him up in third position. But great stuff overall on the board. And I believe that is all the camera angles we might have for you today. That's Mr. Sean Norse. Doesn't look like Aretilia's camera is going to come right before the start of this race, unfortunately. We'll maybe try and work it out between the heats. So for all those new here to the TGN Pro Series, well, we have 5 minutes left of our qualifying. Let me just take you through our breakdown and explain exactly how all of this happens in terms of what today's racing structure looks like. So we're at Kalani Raceway, one of the South African tracks. Very, very nice track to race at indeed. And what we're looking at today is a triple header heat race. We've got heat number 1 coming up after qualifying, and all 3 of the heats are 20 minutes long in length. In duration, apologies. So heat number 1 is going to be your standard ordinary race. Heat number 2, which is the starting procedure, is reversed from the results of race number 1. So for example, if you finished first in heat number 1, unfortunately you will be starting from the back in heat number 2, and vice versa. If you finished in last for heat number 1, you will be starting in first for heat number 2. As we now see, Ralph Schuster puts himself up on the top there. 113.111 for the driver. Incredible stuff there for Ralph Schuster. And that final heat, which is probably the most fun heat in the TGN Pro Series, is going to be the most chaotic one. It is a 100% randomized grid, no matter how good you are as a driver, as we have quite a scale of driver levels here. A couple of very fast drivers, a couple of drivers who are basically just made it into Pro. As you know, there's a Pro and an AM series now, but just made it into Pro in terms of that lap time, and so we'll have to see what they can do as Ethan McDougall now joins into the server. He has not gone around the track just as of yet. There's Mr. Tevin Paul, currently sitting down in 15th, 114.5 to his name, with about 3 minutes left of this qualifying session. But we'll continue pushing on strong here. It's still going to be quite a while before we start this race. As you see, 3 minutes and 31 seconds. And I've got to ask, I mean, everyone in our virtual grandstands, and if you don't know what I'm referring to as our group virtual grandstands, it is indeed the comment section of all the places we're live streaming to. You guys are technically a grandstand of viewers. So you guys are a virtual grandstand. So welcome in virtual grandstand. We're trying to give you guys a bit more love here this season round. Last season, it was a bit of more of a test run that we were trying to do. And so there was less action for the virtual grandstand. I'm seeing YouTube is a little bit quiet there in terms of the virtual grandstand. YouTube, waving hello to you here from the from the commentary box. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy today's racing. I see that TikTok is already going quite all over the place. Lots and lots of people joining in and watching the action here at the TGN Pro Series. Incredible stuff to see. And why doesn't everybody just give a nice high? It's the first round of the TGN Pro Series, and I've got to tell you, these drivers know how to take it around track. They know how to contest against each other. They know how to be good sportsmen around the track. And that's why I am so excited that we're back for season 2026 is technically what we're calling it, as it is a year-long series of the TGN Pro Series. No, apologies. That is the Endurance Series. Apologies. I've been lying to all of you in the virtual grandstand. The Endurance Series is our year-long. The TGN Pro Series, I believe, is 1 to 3 per year, depending on distances. So this is the first one of 2026, though. That's all you've got to know. It is round number 1. And we've got 2 minutes left of this qualifying session. Ralph Schuster still tops it off, though. 113.1, the fastest driver out on track right now. Second place, Gio Sakia will be holding on, trying to break that time. You can see the sector differences. His middle sector is looking pretty good, but those first and last sector not looking prime there for Gio Sakia. Kitsomajia moves back up into third position, and he'll be trying to hold on as strong as he possibly can. But 1 minute left of qualifying, and we hope to see what the drivers can do. Apologies about that. We are back with the racing, and 1 minute left of qualifying indeed to go. Thank you for all the new people who have decided to follow us on TikTok. We hope that you enjoy your stay here for TGN Pro Series round number 1 at Kalani Raceway. And a big thing that we've got to mention as well is that there's some huge prizes up for grab here for the drivers who obviously take the grid by storm here. We have Master Drive joining in again, and if you are on the Twitch stream, you can see their logo in the bottom left. Unfortunately, TikTok will be configured a bit better next time. But Master Drive is here again to provide that advanced driving experience to the winner of the Pro Series. And we've got a lot of TGN in-store vouchers that will be given out to a couple of the top drivers here in the Pro Series. And those vouchers can be spent in-store or online at tgnza.co.za. And great stuff to be grabbed over here, especially all things to do with sim racing gear and rentals. So make your way over to tgnza.co.za or come visit the stores in real life. We have 3 stores now, obviously Johannesburg being the main and the first store here in Randburg. We then have the Cape Town store, and now we officially have a third one in Durban. And you'll have to make your way over to those, go have a bit of a look. Brand new stores up for grabs. Sorry, not up for grabs. Brand new stores for you to go and visit and possibly have yourself a great TGN experience. Take it from someone who, before working with TGN as a commentator, used to be a racer here at TGN. Really, really good stuff. Their rigs are incredibly premium, and you cannot miss out. But we are officially in overtime state now for the qualifying session, and this is what we've got left. It is the drivers now competing for those final laps, and it is getting very heated and close between all of them as they try and shuffle around this track, as they will make their way now to the end of the line. It is a couple of drivers, Kitso Magia to Carl Williams down in 6th position. He's trying to make his way as well and try and push up. Carl Williams not having the best of results here down in 6th. We usually see him contesting that podium, but maybe with a couple of the new names joining in here, he's been pushed down slightly down to 6. Oratile Motsogotsele has come into the pit lane as qualifying is officially over. And it'll be the final couple of drivers coming across that checkered flag line. I see JP Goslet just coming across now, and he pulls into the pit lane. Ralph Schuster is trying to better himself, but there we officially have it. We are done and dusted with that qualifying session, and apologies as we learn the binds again. There we are. Back to the wide cam we will go. The drivers will have a bit of a breather now to ensure that they are ready to go for the next round of racing. And so we'll be right back with you at the start of that heat number 1. And make sure to look out for heat number 1. The qualifying has been set, which means the starting grid is determined by that qualifying session we just had, which we obviously saw Ralph Schuster topping it off quite neatly. So keep your eyes peeled. The drivers are in a little bit of an intermission here, and we'll be back shortly. we are officially back with the racing action here for you. We have just about 40 seconds left before we head into the starting of heat number 1, round number 1 at Killarney. And boy, am I so excited. I know I've said it so many times, and apologies, some people are going to get sick of it, but we've got such a great league up for grabs over here. So much events going on, and there's so much more to get involved with TGN as well. This is just the Pro Series. You are just skimming the top of the iceberg here of TGN racing simulators. There is a lot more to explore to their endurance series, their F1 Sundays, their Saturday races. They have these new Saturday races, which are some afternoon sessions. Their Wednesday night racing, which is a great place to get into racing, and so you do not want to miss it. But we are officially ready to go. We're going to have our wide cam ready for you on the bottom left-hand side. The gantry lights are officially ready to go, and it is almost lights out, and away we go. We'll be with Ralf Schuster, though, at the start of this race, and indeed we are. Ralf Schuster starts it off strong at the forefront of this race. As we're now rating, there we go, we see it diving into turn number 1 now of Killarney Racetrack. It is indeed KTM corner, and all of them rocking around the circuit. It is Gio Sakia trying to make his way around towards the backside of the grid, though. A couple of drivers finding the curbs, and you need to watch out for the chicanes and the bumps on the left and right hand sides of the track. As we have a couple more drivers towards the backhand side, Omar Khan trying to navigate his way. We've got a very stacked grid over here, over 23 cars racing here today. Denise Jobat, unfortunately not here, and Derek Truscott, so we've actually got 18 out on track. Ryan Grigoratos, one of our newer drivers here at the Johannesburg Center. Somebody's off. Somebody's lost the car over there. One of the yellow touring cars has completely lost it. And I'm trying to look who that is. That was the number 18, and it is indeed Daniel Kent who's lost the car somehow. And he's somehow found himself on the inside skirting of the track. So not sure how Daniel Kent managed to do that one. But unfortunately, all the way at the back of the grid, he will now place himself back up towards the top, though. Ralf Schuster leads this, and dominating start here from Ralf Schuster. We've seen what he can do. He's done it before, where even in the reverse grid where he started from the back, he's finished first. So Ralf Schuster, one of the faster guys here, knowing what he can do, and he's extended that gap already to almost the second. Fastest lap he will break into. Jared Lees just behind will be tailing, and he's got a huge group of cars behind him as they all go. A little bit of a brake lock there coming from Ralf Schuster. You can see it from the smoke pounding out the backside. Vanny Obed all over the outside of the curbing then, getting a little bit odgy-bodgy. It's 3 wide and almost contact with Vanny Obed. That's on JP Goslet, who now loses out, unfortunately, to the likes of Vanny Obed. They've got to watch out here to not take each other out. Christopher Long, our winner of the TGN Pro Series last year, is finding himself a little bit further down on the pack, 10th position overall, trying to find his way up. It's not looking too good for him, though, as they move up. Ralf Schuster, though, still sitting very easily up in that top pack. And we'll have to see how that's going to lead on to for the rest of this race. Moving on down, though, we do still have Kitso Magia, and there's his cam down in the bottom. Kitso currently holding in 4th position. He's trying to make his way up on the backside of Gio Sakia. You can see it on the cockpit camera that Gio a little bit further away. He's going to have to try and work for it. And Oratile in the background, as you can see, under huge contention from Sean Norse. Sean Norse trying to make his way around now, and you can see just managing on the inside there of the likes of Oratile, but he does not get past. He's all over the likes of Oratile Motsogotsele. Now onto the outside line he will go. Cockpit cam time it is indeed, and he gets past. Great move from Sean Norse. He's going to make a double overtake, though, onto the inside line of Kitso Magia now. No, apologies, that's a back marker who's already in the positioning here. Kitso Magia is not... that is indeed Kitso Magia. Apologies, that is Kitso Magia, who's now feeling the pressure from Sean Norse, carrying a lot of momentum out of that final corner, and he's found himself ahead of Oratile, but also right onto the backside of Kitso Magia. He's got to watch out here. It's going to start to get close. JP Goslet comes into the pit lane now, unfortunately, and looks like he's not going to be finishing this one off just as of yet. Ralf Schuster, though, well up into the lead now. It is a tremendous gap. It's showing JP Goslet in the lead of the standings, but that's not true in this case. It is indeed still Ralf Schuster, and there he goes, and he's got himself still a 1 second gap. It is to Jared Lees, and Gio Sakia finds himself, unfortunately, 1.6 seconds behind the leader, as that is not your interval time, that is behind the leader. So he's about 1 second or so off from Jared Lees, who currently sits in 2nd position. Kitso Magia obviously sitting in 4th position, and Michael de Kock has made his way up into that top 5, but he's got a huge train of cars behind him that are trying to work past as well. Further on in that pack, though, Session Governor is finding himself on the edge of the top 10, and Omar Khan will be chasing down on him now. One of the fast drivers there in the Cape Town Centre, Omar Khan, will be doing absolutely everything he can. Ryan Grigoratos, our new driver here at the Johannesburg station, down in 14th, finding it slightly difficult towards the back end, and he's got Trevin Paul Also one of the newer guys up in front, fighting alongside the likes of Omar Khan, I believe. No, that's not Omar Khan. That's another one of the drivers who have unfortunately been lapped now. And Trevin Paul fighting very hard there to maintain his position. Vilji Truscott, though, another name from last season, currently holding down in 16th with Dean Jacobs behind. We don't have any cams on Dean Jacobs. I spoke to him before this and saying, well, you can be glad you don't have a camera on you this time around. He wasn't very impressed of having a camera on him, especially when he got to those slightly more angry tidbit moments. And so he currently sits down in 17th position. Nothing to show for on the bottom left-hand side, though. And so we move back up onto the grid. We'll try and get a view of this entire track. As you can see, the 15th position is indeed JP Goslet. He comes out after the pit stop, and he is very far down, unfortunately. 18th as well, Daniel Kent. 5 positions down since the start. He was the driver who we saw, unfortunately, sideways at the beginning of this race. And so up in the front, though, Ralph Schuster will be leading. Gio Sakia is finding himself not being able to catch up to Jared Leask at the time being in Kitso Magia. What magic can he perform to try and get on the backside of Gio Sakia? Unfortunately, not gaining as fast as he would have hoped for. You can see it, just trying to hold that inside line, not making a mistake on the curbs, trying to shorten that gap currently to Gio Sakia up in front, but he's got to work hard for it. It's not going to just be given to him as they work around the track now. It is still Kitso Magia holding off that 4th position spot, and he around the track he will go. A bit further behind, though, Michael de Kock is just trailing behind Kitso Magia. Again, lots and lots of Cupras out on track, so don't get confused between all of them. They are all different cars, and Michael de Kock trying to hold on now. Sean Norse, the driver who we saw carrying loads of momentum, is currently sitting down in 6th position, trying to work his way up right now. As we see that Ethan, one of the staff members, he did mention that there's something wrong with his rig, unfortunately, for heat number 1. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it sorted for heat number 2, but he cannot get it going. And he has set this one out, and he's just making sure everybody else is having a great time, which is what Ethan always does as a staff member here. He always ensures that every single person is having a great race, even if it means he has to sacrifice his own. And a little bit further behind, Christopher Long. He's now on the backside of Vanna Jobert, and Vanna just sitting up, trying to make his way. And you can see they're just holding off, but Christopher Long is creeping closer and closer. On board we will go. Is the dive going to be made? Indeed it is. He's looking on that inside line, but Vanna breaks late, trying to find it. Oh, it's a late break, though, heavily on the brakes there for Vanna Jobert, and he will go wide. And it leaves the door slightly open for Christopher Long, but I believe he made a slight bit of an error as well. So not too much of a gaining that he was able to make there. Session Governor is now on the backside of them and his Hyundai i30N, trying to work it around the track now. And watch out for Session Governor, one of the newer drivers here, and seems to be proving himself. Up in the top 10 he will go, on the backside of Christopher Long at Vanna Jobert. 2 of the longest standing drivers here in the TGN Pro Series. And the new gun a little bit further behind. Session Governor, somebody's gone off. Is that Christopher Long? I believe it might be. No, I believe it might be Vanna Jobert. Indeed it is. Vanna finds himself off in his Toyota Yaris. No, apologies, his Toyota Corolla. It looks like a Yaris, but it's the Corolla GR. And Vanna Jobert now loses out on that fight with Christopher Long, and Session Governor moves very far behind, unfortunately. And he'll have to work hard to make his way back up. Michael de Kock still holding off on that top 5. We are almost at the halfway mark of race number 1. We'll then obviously head into a bit of a short break, let the drivers stretch their legs, and then into race number 2. Remember that there will be a slightly longer intermission between race 2 and number 3 as we reset the server in order to ensure the randomized grid. So we're looking at about a 10 to 12 minute break in between there, but we will have a timer up on screen for you. Unfortunately not for the TikTok viewers, but for the Twitch and YouTube viewers, you'll see a timer up on screen to ensure that you know when to come back. Go make yourself some popcorn or some form of food and drink, and come back and watch the action once we get to heat number 3. But for the time being, Jared Leask 1.01 seconds to the likes of Ralph Schuster. Ralph is not technically running away with this race, but it's also not the hardest battle for him here. He really doesn't have to worry too much. He's got nothing to contest for in the front, obviously being well into the lead right now. But he does obviously have Jared Leask a bit further behind, who will try and contest as they continue to go along. Jared Leask a bit further behind, and Gio Sakia is unfortunately 1.4 seconds. There you see the interval time. So Gio Sakia 1.4 seconds behind, and Kitso Magia a little bit further as well, as they all come down, stretching towards, as we hear the dimming of the engines as they come around now. You hear those touring car engines bursting through the speakers. And a bit further behind, Michael de Kock is still trying to make his way. Kitso Magia has lost out to Michael de Kock, though. One thing we didn't notice too much, but here he comes into the pit lane. They all come to serve something. I'm not too sure what they are coming to serve. I didn't think that a pit stop is needed. I think there is actually a mandatory pit stop that needs to be done here for all of the drivers. I think it is a requirement, as we see most of our drivers not coming in. Even in the 20-minute stint, a pit stop is going to be needed here. And so we see Kitso coming in, a couple more drivers coming in. Vanna Yobat stays out, but we do see Kitso, Christopher Long, Kyle Williams, Michael de Kock. They all come into the pit lane. When is Ralph Schuster going to come into that pit lane, followed by Jared Leask and Gio Sakia? The top three currently all remaining in their spots. They have not come out of that. They have not come into the pit lane as of yet, and so we'll have to watch what strategy gets pulled. But 30 seconds to the halfway mark of race number 1. And so far, it is looking very, very good for Ralph Schuster, with Jared Lees just a bit further behind him. The rest of the grid still scaling as we continue going around. Dean Jacobs, unfortunately, very far off right now. He's just on the backside of the tail end of our grid right now, down in 17th with Vilji Troscott. Unfortunately, the final driver on the grid as it stands. He's a whole lap down, followed by Daniel Kent and Dean Jacobs. They're also on a whole lap down right now. JP Goslet, currently the last driver on the 8th lap, and then from below him, it's all down to the 7th lap. So Kyle Williams just up in front of him. That is for position that they'll be fighting for. Omar Khan is also just up ahead there, and so we should see a fight shortly between Kyle Williams and Omar Khan. Give it a couple of minutes, but only 9 minutes left of racing here. If they do want to make any form of attacks, they've got to make it soon while there's still time to do it. Christopher Long, though, is working absolutely hard. It is overtime here for Christopher Long after that pit stop. He's doing everything he can to make his way through and potentially move up on this grid. It is still Ralph Schuster up in front. I'm waiting to see for that pit lane call for Ralph Schuster, as we still see him holding on tight, waiting to see when he's going to come in. Jared Leask, a bit further behind, is also working hard. 1.9 seconds, though. He is losing time to Ralph Schuster here, so losing focus a little bit. And we do see that Gio Sakia has come in to serve his pit stop, so he's down to a 9th position right now. That's the drop-off we're seeing. Oratile Matsogotsele now up into 3rd position. And not sure if he's completed his pit stop. It's a bit difficult to observe all the pit stops around the track. And Jared Leask, Ralph Schuster, when are they going to come in? Here they go on the starting straight. They've just missed the pit entry, so Ralph Schuster stays out again. Jared Leask does indeed come in, and so the race leader performing the overcut strategy. He feels comfortable in that car. The tires are not worn yet, and they will continue to go around. That's the rule again. Sorry, I just remembered now. The fuel is fine to make it towards the end of the race. The issue is the tires. They've here at the TGN Pro Series, they've ensured that the drivers have to perform a mandatory pit stop just due to the tire wear factor. Those tires can only last about 6 to 7 laps. Maybe what we're seeing here with Ralph Schuster, about 10 laps. He's really pushing it down those tires, and they are in the red zone, so very imminent to failure and possible errors being made. But Ralph Schuster is holding it like an absolute champion. We used to have a camera on Ralph Schuster, but it's been moved around to ensure everybody gets a bit of a spotlight. So Sean Norse, 2nd position, is currently the other driver with a camera on, and holding off just now. I don't know if he's pitted yet. I do not know. We'll have to see if he comes in for the rest of this race, but Ralph Schuster definitely has not come in, as we still see Ralph Schuster way up in front. Let's see. He's coming across the final hairpin now. He's just finished off on the KTM straight, and towards the pit lane he will go. Is it going to be in this time around for Ralph Schuster? Hanging on the left-hand side of the track, right-hand side, apologies, and into the pit lane he will come. Sean Norse, will he follow in suit, or will we see Sean Norse trying to get that overcut strategy done? Holding off, holding off, holding off. No, indeed, he stays on the left-hand side of the track, and he will remain out. As mentioned, I don't know if he's come in yet, but assuming that the race lead is only coming in now, I don't think Sean Norse has come into box just as of yet. Vanny Obert, same for him. He's currently sits in 2nd. 7 minutes of a gap right now. 7 minutes left of this race, and that is all that the drivers have got to contest for, with Kitso Majia still sitting there in 4th position now. Remember that Kitso is pit stop complete in terms of status in that pit stop, so he's in that fight right now to move up on this grid, and so he's just waiting for Sean Norse and Kitso Majia, Sean Norse and Vanny Obert, apologies, to possibly move out the way. So Kitso's looking very, very good here for a provisional pole. I cannot lie to you. He could have possibly pulled a bit of a better strategy here with that early undercut, and Michael de Kock as well, same for him. They've all come in to serve those pits, to serve those pit stops, and now they currently sit in the provisional podium spots of this race. Ralph Schuster just on the backside, so he moves down into 3rd position in the provisional podium, as we will still see Sean Norse and Vanny Obert, the 2 drivers up in front, will be coming into the pit lane eventually. Just give it a little bit of time. We'll have to wait and see. Omar Khan a little bit further behind. He's in a bit of a battle right now. He's got, I believe, Gio Sakia up in front. Indeed, it is Gio Sakia in 10th position. He's trying to hold off, and Session Government rounds off that mini train, as we see lots and lots of drivers still trying to make their way around. with the likes of Omar Khan leading that train. But great job as well from Ryan Grigoratos. I mean, he's doing a pretty good job here for his first time in the TGN Pro Series. As there we now see Vanio Bad and the likes of Sean Norse coming into the pit lane now. Kitso Magia moves up into P1 with 5 minutes left of racing to go. Michael de Kock second and Ralph Schuster third. This is now the challenge. Can Ralph Schuster potentially get that podium, that pole position back, the top step of the podium by contesting with the two up in front? He's going to have to work very, very hard for it. 5 minutes is not a lot of time. Another thing to mention on these cars, they do have a boost. All cars have got a boost that they can use. It is a total of 15 seconds of boost per lap that they're allowed to use. And once they activate it, they have to use it for that lap. So, and they've only got 8 laps to use. So if they, for example, activate it and decide for the rest of that lap not to use it, it is a complete waste because it's still going to count as a lap used. They only have 8 laps used. Somebody's gone off though. Who is off on the side of the track? That's Kitso Magia, who has had a bit of an unfortunate runoff onto that KTM straight. And now it has led to, wow, what a move on the inside. Ralph Schuster gets past both of them. And Michael de Kock gets pushed to secondary as Ralph Schuster now on that outside line will hold P number 1. Kitso Magia making a huge error towards the end of this race. He's not going to be happy about that one and moves behind both the drivers now. Ralph Schuster holds the lead of this race yet again. And what a great conversion from Ralph Schuster to hold off on the lead of this. Michael de Kock will hold off on second to the likes of Kitso Magia, and Kitso not going to be happy about that one. He sold that down the river, unfortunately, by going off track. Somebody else has gone off track in the background. Similar livery to the likes of Ralph Schuster, but it's not. I believe it might be Oratile or Vanna Yobat. No, it's not. It's one of the back markers, I believe. Could be Dean Jacobs. Indeed, it is Dean Jacobs, who just went off right now behind the leading pack. So down in 18th position, unfortunately. But what an absolute championship move there from Ralph Schuster. And this is going to boost him. Definitely going to boost him here for round number 1. He's got to keep the stride going, though, and potentially keep this spot and running for race number 2 and race number 3. Like I mentioned earlier, we've seen what this driver can do. We've seen what Ralph Schuster can do, even starting at the back of this grid. He's been able to get up towards the front. It all just depends how that 20-minute stint goes. But now he's under huge contention. Michael de Kock on the outside line, coming into the end of the KTM straight. And around the outside he will try to go, but unfortunately not enough momentum to work around Ralph Schuster. And Kitso Magia is unfortunately dropping off with rapid pace. It is now Jared Leesk on the backside. And Kitso now has to worry about losing that final spot of the podium. It's no longer a question of if he can chase the top. He's got to just try and keep it nice and clean. Sean Norse, pressure from Kyle Williams here for that top 8 position. And there is a huge strain of drivers. It's Gio Sakia, Session Governor, Omar Khan, who's having a very rough time right now in round number 1. We usually see him contesting towards the top, but down in 12th position right now. Just not finding the pace. Devin Paul, the new driver, down in 13th, is also just trying to keep his head on. And JP Goslet a bit further behind as well. But the main watch is up in the front. Ralph Schuster, 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. What can Michael de Kock do? He is all over the backside of Ralph Schuster. You can just see it coming now onto that KTM straight. I believe that Michael de Kock, a little bit of a different entry, and that's why we see him gaining so much on this KTM straight. But this time around, it is a huge gap between them as we see them running down the back straight right now. Michael de Kock to Ralph Schuster. Into the hairpin they will go yet again, but Ralph Schuster will indeed hold it this time around, not being contested. Kitso Magia loses out to Jared Leesk on the on the third last lap. And very unfortunate for him. Jared Leesk now moves up into that final podium spot. What is going on for Kitso Magia? He's lost out from race win. He's lost out from podium. And now he's lost out, unfortunately, from the likes of the likes of Jared Lee. So down to 4th position he will go. And very, very, very unfortunate. I see Smas Meliso, apologies if I pronounced that wrong, but setting crying faces in the virtual grandstand. Not happy with what's happened there to Kitso Magia. Very, very unfortunate there for the driver who is well experienced in the TGN Pro Series. Vanny Yobat with Christopher Long still fighting on strong behind him. And we'll have to see how this is going to go. But further down, Tevin Paul, JP Goslet. It is just up in front of him is Omar Khan. He can possibly chase in the next coming laps. But the grid pretty much fixated where it is right now. Daniel Kent has got a bit of a train behind him, but it's not for position. He's currently down at 16th with being a lap behind the likes of the drivers all in that train. But for 10th position, Gio Sakia has got Session Governor behind him. He's got to watch out for that attack, which could come prominently. He's got to watch out for that run. Ralph Schuster, though, up in front. 1 minute left. There's your tire age. 14 laps have been done I definitely think they would have changed. I don't think that metric is exactly accurate, because I do think they definitely changed for tires as. Now coming through last lap, the white flag has officially been waved as we've got 50 seconds left and over 50-second lap times. Further behind though, Michael de Kock is under huge pressure because Jared Leesk has taken second position going into the KTM corner, and he's now just taken it by storm, not even noticing from the background there, and Jared Leesk moves up into second. Michael de Kock not going to be happy with that one, and he's been demoted to the final step of the podium. Can he now hold it from Ketso Magia? But Ralf Schuster, he's just got to hold it now from Jared Leesk. The top two have been returned to what they started as. It is Ralf Schuster to Jared Leesk, Michael de Kock, Ketso Magia, as they continue on strong over here. But with 12 seconds left on the clock, we're about to hit the end of this race duration. Onto the KTM straight, they will go. Ralf Schuster with a huge gap to the driver behind. Jared Leesk has been able to, breach that a little bit with the fighting that's been happening with Michael de Kock. There you can see it at the top. Leader is officially on the final lap. And now rounding that final hairpin corner, Ralf Schuster will be coming up to the line. The first race, the first heat of round number 1, and Ralf Schuster has started it off strong. Checkered flag is being waved, and Ralf Schuster takes the win for the first time here in 2026. Michael de Kock takes second with Jared Leesk in third. Ketso Magia will take fourth. Aratile Matogotele in fifth. Christopher Long will take sixth as he's currently fighting with Van Hubert, who comes into the pit lane on the final checkered flag wave. Seventh for him, Carl Williams, Sean Norse, Gio Sakia. Very, very close between all of them as they come across the line, but it remains the same. Session Governor in 11th, Omar Khan to Tevin Paul a bit further. Omar Khan again on the grass. JP Goslet a bit further behind as well, as he's still rounding that final hairpin. And then we'll see Mr. Ryan Grigoratos, who I believe has already come across the checkered flag line. No, he has not. There he comes down in 17th position right now, unfortunately. And so he is quite far off the pack as it goes around the track. But that is officially race number 1 done and dusted. And wow, what an absolutely incredible race we got to see over here. Loads and loads of action all across the board. Ralf Schuster, though, taking that final win in the dire moments when it was needed. Great work from there. The drivers will have a bit of a break now before heat number 2. We're also going to go and have a bit of a short break, possibly have a bit of a chat with our drivers down at the bottom there. A bit of a chat how the race number 1 has gone. And so we'll see you in a short bit. Don't go anywhere. Race number 2 coming your way shortly. Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, and we are officially back with the racing action here for the TGN Pro Series. We're officially heading into heat number 2. Apologies to our TikTok live stream. We just quickly ended the stream to ensure we were using the correct encoder. Hopefully this will reduce a couple of the stutters that we were witnessing in both of the live streams. Obviously, if you're wanting the best experience, make sure you search up TGN Pro Series, TGN Racing Simulators on YouTube, and you'll get the best broadcast experience on that platform. We are testing out TikTok in today's stream, and so it might be a little bit here or there, but we'll definitely still have it up and running for you. But 15 seconds left to go now before we start again with race number 2. As we mentioned, it's been rotated. Dean Jacobs will be starting up in front with Vilji Truscott and Daniel Kent from behind. And all the way at the back is Mr. Ralph Schuster. The gantry lights are on, though, and it's about to be going. It's lights out, and away we go. Dean Jacobs starting off on that pole position, though, alongside Vilji Truscott. But he's got the inside line. Will be trying to hold it, though, with the rest of the drivers piling on towards the backside of him. Around the first corner, they will go. The KTM corner through the backside of the circuit. Somebody's gone off the track, unfortunately, and dropping off very, very drastically as of yet. We'll get your track map up and running, and somebody's dropped off. That's down to 18th position. It's Ralph Schuster who actually went off there, turn number 1, unfortunately, and he's lost out a lot in that short span there. Very unfortunate to see him go off. Omar Khan also a little bit further behind, but there we officially have Michael de Kock, who just went off there as well. The green Cupra Leon is down to the backside of this grid now, fighting for podium last race. He is now a very, very far long shot off that he's got to work with. Up in front, though, it is Dean Jacobs who's holding this lead. Well, usually Dean Jacobs, he's definitely gotten better. Somebody's off in the background, unfortunately, being tagged off, and it's Session Govender who's been tagged going into the right-hander, the right-hander, unfortunately, and going around in his Hyundai i30N. Very unfortunate to see him move away, as we'll try and keep it going here for the rest of them. Ralph Schuster, though, trying to climb up the packs now. You can see him on the outside line, working his way around, ensuring he can possibly get up towards that first position spot. We've seen him do it, and we'll hopefully see him do it again. Up in front, though, Dean Jacobs is still holding on strong. Vilji Truscott and Ryan Grigoratos on the curbs. He will go. It's all over bouncing for that touring car, and he's going to lose a lot of positions due to that. He's been bumped off the track there by Tevin Paul, but guess who's gotten ahead of all of them? It is indeed the likes of Sean Norse, who moves up into 7th, ahead of all those drivers now, just through turn number 1, 3 positions up, and currently 10 positions up overall. So no games being played here at all by Sean Norse. He is hungry for a potential win here today, and currently doing an incredible job at it as well. Vanny Obert up in 3rd position. 8 positions up for him as well. He's up to 1st. What on earth has happened? Vanny Obert takes 1st by storm, coming out of the KTM straight. And what a change of events now. Dean Jacobs has been shunted all the way behind, and 7 drivers total have gotten ahead now. Vanny Obert to JP Goslet have all been changed around as they come into turn number 1. It is Pinnacle, and you can see JP Goslet just trying to hold it, but Vanny Obert has gotten himself such a great lead in this race now. We'll have to see what the rest of the drivers can do with all of this information. The rest of them still come rounding now towards turn number 1, the KTM corner. It is Vilji Truscott just a bit further behind the likes of Vanny Obert, and JP Goslet, who will be working. Daniel Kent, who had a pretty poor start towards last race, but now he's all the way up in the top, and we know what he can do. He's incredibly quick, and let's hope that he can keep himself up there. Ryan Grigoratos also hoping he can do the same. Christopher Long, our winner of the TGN Pro Series last year, and now he's made himself up towards the top 6. The question is, where does Ralph Schuster sit? Unfortunately, only 7 positions up. In 15th he will go, as they try and work their way around. Omar Khan has also had a poor start here, 4 positions down, unfortunately, and not going to be looking into that one. Session Governor, 4 positions down since the start. He obviously got knocked off the track like we saw, and 2 positions down for Michael de Kock, currently sitting at the final driver on today's racing circuit. But Vanny Obert has been able to extend it 1.5 seconds of a gap right now to Vilji Truscott behind, and he's done some incredible feats. But look at the train, it's almost 3 wide going down into turn number 1. There's contact, huge amounts of contact. JP Goslet is off. Christopher Long looks like he's off. Kyle Williams has gone off, and I believe that might have been Gio Sakia getting bumped off circuit. No, it's not. It's one of the other white-colored touring cars, but my goodness, loads of contact there between all of the drivers, unfortunately. That was Ryan Grigoratos that's been knocked off the track. He joined the likes of JP Goslet, and they are very far off right now. They've got to work to get back up. Very eventful action going into turn number 1, and that is so unfortunate to see. All the drivers trying to make their way around. Vanni Oberto 1.6 seconds ahead, and he is just extending it more and more and more. We'll have to see if he can hold it though, because Vilji Truscott, Daniel Kent, Christopher Long has also joined in. He's just behind with Dean Jacobs trailing onto the backside now. And Dean Jacobs obviously starting off this race in pole. He's trying to make his way back up, but 5 minutes have already progressed. Lots of smoke in the background there, I believe coming from Gio Sakia's car, as we try and hold to see what all the drivers can do for the remainder of this race. Ralf Schuster, though, is trying to make his way up. He's up to 13th, 9 positions up now overall, but he's got to do more. He's got to do something to get up towards that top. Maybe during the pit stops, something will change. It's still 15 minutes. There's smoke in the background, though, and I think it again was Ryan Grigoratos who's gone off into the smoke, gone off into the gravel. Sorry, not smoke in the background, gravel in the background. So Ryan Grigoratos now just trying to make his way around the circuit, and Session Governor also obviously slightly more unfortunate for him, but Vanni Obert has moved all the way up and still remaining there. 1:13.7 is his fastest lap time that he just performed. Daniel Kent will follow just in sweet behind him, and Vilji Truscott a little bit further behind. Unfortunately, we don't have the other Truscott brother. He's decided to miss out on the racing this time around. Apologies, that element got moved. It's been moved back to normal, but Vilji Truscott, and I believe it was Derek Truscott, his brother, who's not in today's racing, unfortunately, and hopefully he will be in next week. But Christopher Long tailing behind in 4th, and Dean Jacobs has been able to hold that top 5 pretty well. Sean Norris is looking very aggressive, though, and he's trying to work behind the likes of Dean Jacobs. Very aggressive pink car over here of Sean Norris, and you can see it in the bottom left. He is so ready for the action. He is trying to keep that car on its rail. Somebody's off, though. Somebody's lost it, and I think it's Vanni Obert. Indeed, it is the race leader. Loses it through the right-hander, and Vanni Obert moves from P1, joins the racing line, and almost has massive contact with Michael de Kock. He has to go evasive to move out the way there for Vanni Obert, and that almost gets very technical. Vanni Obert just joining onto the circuit there, slightly unsafe for rejoin, but my goodness, Vanni Obert moves from 1st all the way down to 15th position. He goes, unfortunately, due to one spin-off, and Daniel Kent gets promoted to the race lead. 1:13.3, fastest lap now coming out of the young driver, and Christopher Long will be following just off behind. Christopher Long, obviously the winner from last season, and let's see what he can do to try and keep that streak up. But we do have Vilji Truscott. Sean Norris is also showing some aggression from behind. Where is our other man of the cameras? It's Kitso Magia, and I believe he's already pitted. Hopefully he's already pitted, because he is very, very off the pack right now. 18th position overall. Maybe there's been some form of contact somewhere for Kitso, and he has not had the best of times here at the start of this race. Let's hope that's not the case, though. Hopefully he's pitted under our noses. Usually we'd see the pit stops happening, though. Ralf Schuster's also had a bit of an incident, though. He's moved down 5. He was 9 positions up, now only 5 positions up. So something's definitely happened there as well to the race 1 winner. And doesn't look like it's going to be the easiest climb up towards the top, but we're almost at the halfway mark. Those pit stops will be coming in imminently, and we'll have to watch out for those. Kyle Williams getting very close on the backside now of Dean Jacobs, as he tries to take a slightly wider line through the next couple of corners as they work around together, and we'll have to see how that's going to play out. Trying to look again. There we have Mr. Session or Tevin. Apologies, I don't again remember which one is which. I don't know if it is Session or Tevin. I believe it's Session, Governor, and I actually forgot we had a camera for him, but there it is in the bottom left-hand side as he continues to go around track here, hoping for the best. He had a great run-off in the first race, but obviously a little bit further down now and trying to perfect it for the next time around. I believe we don't have any more. That's obviously the frozen camera. That's Mr. Sean Norris, and obviously that's Mr. Kitso Magia. We do also have Ethan's camera, but obviously Ethan is not here this time around for this race, so and he wasn't here for race number 1 either, just due to a couple of issues on his rig not being configured. But up in front, it is now Gio Sakia who leads this race. Has the likes of Kent come in for the pits? Indeed he has. Kent comes in for the pit. Vilji Truscott has spun, unfortunately. It said he had pit next to his name, but he's actually lost the car. And Gio Sakia moves up into the start of this race. P1 it is. Sean Norris tails just behind him, but it's going to be a hard fight. Sean Norris has got Dean Jacobs squirming all over the back, and Dean he's having an incredible race here. Great consistency being shown here from Dean. We know Dean's a really fast driver, but he's just had a little bit of an inconsistency, especially towards last season, where we saw him drop off slightly, but he's doing a great job now alongside the likes of Sean Norris. Is it going to be? We're hoping to make the overtake. it is going to be. And indeed, Dean Jacobs on the outside line. Sean Norse dives again up on the inside line. He's just left, but he looks like he's on the outside, hopefully getting past at the bump though, and he's off the track indeed. Sean Norse moves it back up into the top, and I wonder if that's going to be a bit of driver beef there, a bit of a bump and bash there with Sean Norse and Dean Jacobs, and that's extended it back to a 1 second distance, and obviously Michael de Kock a bit further behind in third. Fourth position, Van Bat off that spin. Everybody's already completed their pit stops now, as we've reached the halfway mark in about 30 seconds time. But for Van Bat, unfortunately, going and trying to make it work. We do have somebody in the virtual grandstand. Nice and long comment. I'm going to read it out. Saying, hey guys, I'm glad you guys took this seriously and even have commentary nowadays. Great stuff. Haven't been at TGN Randburg in a while. I promise I will see you guys soon this year. Great stuff. Apologies, I cannot read the username from that distance, but thank you so much for your comment in the virtual grandstand, and we hope to see you here at TGN Randburg in the shorter part of this year. Let's hope it's not towards the end part like December. Hopefully something like March or April. Isn't that scary to think? March is in a couple of days. Don't even want to talk about that. Let's talk about the racing action. I think that's better. But for Sean Norse, Dean Jacobs now holding off in second. Both of the two drivers up here in top, though, still no pit stops being made. And hopefully that will come in the next coming laps. Further on behind, though, Michael de Kock comes into the pit stop, and Van Bat will be joining him as well. The rest of the drivers still going past. JP Goslet decides to stay out. Christopher Long stays out unless they've already completed those pit stops. It is around about the time for the drivers to complete those pit stops, as we do see Michael de Kock coming in, and he's going to sit there. Track temperature 35 degrees around here. Average pit stop time 28.96 seconds, about 29 seconds that the drivers lose. And now it's actually dropping as more and more drivers are finding a bit of a faster time in that pit stop as they continue to go around. But Sean Norse up in front is leading now with a massive charge up ahead in this race, and he'll hopefully continue to push around that track. Oh, that's he's continued to go around. Dean Jacobs just a bit further behind, and JP Goslet as they keep on going. Christopher Long up behind, and just because we don't have too many drivers with their cams on, I'm actually going to pull our wide cam on again just for everybody. I know TikTok's always got it in the bottom left-hand side, so TikTok's not seeing those driver cams, but they are seeing the wide camera that's being presented, so they can see that. But now even the YouTube and Twitch stream can see that. Sorry, YouTube and Facebook, and they continue going around track. But there we can see all the drivers making their way around, and we'll have to see how it's going to turn out for them. But 8 minutes left of racing now. What is going to be the play? Sean Norse needs to come into service pit stop, and the question is, when is he going to do it? He needs to do it soon. He cannot waste too much time on those old tires. He's already gone 10 laps, and what we saw from Ralf Schuster is after 10 laps was around about the prime time to get that car in. Here comes Ralf Schuster. He's up into fifth, 17 positions up, but I don't think he's coming for that pit stop. 10 laps as well run on those tires, and we'll have to see if he's going to come into the pit lane or not. So Ralf Schuster just nursing it now, and onto the back straight they will go. Through the second last corner they will come, and it is indeed onto the KTM straight. Sean Norse to Dean Jacobs, and Dean keeping a very, very close tail on the backside of Sean Norse now. You can see him always in the background there, idling in his white car as they go. Sorry, not white. That's a bit of a maroon trim on that car. And you'll notice it on all the TGN racing cars here, is that they've got their one primary color, which is the TGN Pro Series, but then they've got some nice accents. So, and the drivers get to choose their accent colors, as we know that Session has got himself a very nice, why can I not find him? There he is there. Session's got himself a nice teal blue color, so very nice from him over there. As we'll continue going around, there's Mr. Session, as we see in the bottom left hand side again, hoping that is Session. But Sean Norse stays out for another whole lap. Dean Jacobs stays out as well, so both of them testing the distance on those tires. What is Ralf Schuster going to do? He stays out as well. So 6 minutes or 7 minutes left to go. Almost at 6-7 there. Well, let's not start a trend in our commentary boxes here. But 6.5 or so minutes left to go. Ralf Schuster stays out though. And there comes the fastest lap. Michael de Kock moves up 12th position. And he's getting those lap times in ever so more. And we'll have to see how that's going to work out for him. 6 minutes to go though. Hopefully the racing action will continue strong. Omar Khan still holding off in 11th as he continues around track right now with Tevin up in front, just up ahead of him. And all of them still trying to find Ryan Grigoratos, obviously having that contact early on in the race. He's under immense pressure right now, and that pressure is coming from the likes of Daniel Kent and Vilji Truscott. Up ahead though, JP Goslet is also having a long fight here. This is a train with the likes of Van Bat Apologies, not JP Goslet, Vanny Obat, and Session Governor, who's just up ahead of them. But a little bit of a train forming between all of those drivers. We do see Dean Jacobs and Sean Norse now both coming in to serve that pit stop. And so there you see it, 28.6 seconds will be lost. Gio Sakia has already finished that pit stop, I believe. Unfortunately, we can't really see it. The CMRT HUD doesn't give us the best statistics, and so it'll tell us that the drivers have actually been on one set of tires the whole way through. Meanwhile, they have changed. So Gio Sakia now moves up, but Christopher Long is biting onto the backside of him right now, trying to move his way up, and we do know Christopher Long has already pitted. Diving on the inside though of turn number 2. What can Gio Sakia do on the outside line to keep himself ahead? I don't know if he's going to be able to do much, and he will have to remain dormant on the outside line though. 5 minutes left of racing. This is where it becomes intense for these drivers. They've got to start working hard, digging deep to keep themselves. There's a bit of contact between the two, and they go sideways a bit, but Christopher Long looks like he's going to hold it though. On towards that KTM straight they will go. Around the right-hander. It is very, very good close racing between the two, and I love seeing the amount of action between all of them. But Christopher Long still holding alongside the likes of Gio Sakia. You can see it from the helicopter cam. It is adjacent to each other, literally next to each other, Gio Sakia and Christopher Long. Coming into that heavy braking zone now, though, and Gio Sakia is going to have the outside line. It's not going to be the advantage, but he is going to try and hold it. It's going to convert to the inside line for turn number 1. Can he hold it, though, or is Christopher Long going to get a good enough run-off? Indeed, he is, to completely block off the likes of Gio Sakia, and he'll now hold that inside line going into turn number 1. So great movement there, and great defensive attacking on the likes of Christopher Long, but Gio Sakia tries to go around the outside yet again. It's a very, very late break, but he's trying to make it work. Christopher Long, though, still holding, and Gio Sakia going slightly wide at that next corner. And Ryan Grigorato seems to have had another spin somewhere. He's all the way down to 18th position right now with Daniel Kent up in front of him. And 4 minutes left to go is all that they've got to work with on the clock. Tevin Paul, 7th position. Where does our race 1 winner sit currently? Unfortunately, it's not looking too good, as trying to find him now. There he is indeed, 8th position for Mr. Ralph Schuster. The driver who finished race number 1 in pole position, obviously then started at the backside of the grid, moves up 14 positions. It's a huge stride to move up, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to be enough to move himself up into a position where he can win this race. It is a long fight that he's got going with the likes of Christopher Long up in front. Gio Sakia just a bit further behind now, is also trying to work his way around the likes of Christopher Long. And I think this is officially it. Oh, apologies about that. Bumped the microphone. I think this is officially it in terms of our provisional podium. I think it is going to be Christopher Long to Gio Sakia to Carl Williams. It's all changed up there in race number 2, as we predicted it would be. And Christopher Long doing an incredible job to keep himself up in P1. 7/10 to Gio Sakia, just a bit further behind him. And oh, someone's gone off there. It's Carl Williams. He's bouncing all over the curbs there. He's made an error through turn number 1, and that's opened the door. Jared Leask moves up into 3rd position. Oratile Motswa Gotsele, a name we haven't seen all race here, moves up into 4th position. Great move from himself to keep his stride heavy in 4th position. But Carl Williams not going to be happy with that one. And Kitso Majia is going to be right on the attack just up behind him. You can see Kitso looking all over, trying to find his way and looking to potentially make an overtake. Carl Williams, though, is struggling. He is definitely struggling and trying to keep that car on all 4 wheels, but he's finding it rather hard to keep it all nice and consistent. I am hearing a couple of screams down on the floor where the drivers are racing. Somebody's obviously had something that hasn't gone their way, and it could have possibly been, not 100% sure who it would have been. Dean Jacobs is a bit further down. He's fighting so hard with Sean Norse right now. There's Sean Norse. He's trying to work his way. And as you can see now, diving up into the inside line. 2 minutes left of racing now. He's got pressure from behind. He's got pressure from the front. Tevin Paul holds that 9th position slot, which is the position that Sean Norse is definitely wanting. And so we'll have to see how that's going to work for all of them. But Christopher Long is coming around to start off this second last lap. It's not going to be the final lap just as of yet, as we've still got 1 minute and 48 seconds left to go. So second last lap of racing here for heat number 2. And then we head into our very chaotic heat number 3, which, as I mentioned, 100% random grid. It becomes very chaotic. We've got a couple of the very fast drivers who get planted all over, and they've got to do their work to try and get themselves up towards the top. I know that the reverse grid should also be more chaotic, but somehow the third grid, the heat number 3, is even more chaotic. So it's a very odd thing to see, and we'll have to wait and see how it's all going to turn out for these drivers. But For the time being, Christopher Long holds off P1. He's under so much pressure, though, as Gio Sakia is on the inside line, coming down into the hairpin at the end of the KTM straight. Gio Sakia is going to be able to hold it. Great move from Gio Sakia, and Christopher Long did not expect it. He did not have the rotation through the hairpin to control that position, and now it is going to be coming onto the second last lap. And here it comes. Over the line they will go. It is officially white flag territory. Last lap of racing here for Gio Sakia. Can he hold it, or is he going to find the pressure? He is finding it on the inside line slightly, as Christopher Long is now looking to see if he can make that position stick. Unfortunately not. Christopher Long all over the backside. You can see it. Looking left, right, diving up on the left-hand side. Gio Sakia holds the inside. It's a bit of a door bash between the two of them, and it is getting very, very close. Gio Sakia will keep that lead, though, and we're having a bit of a replica as what we saw in race number 1, where the leads were all busy fighting with each other, just coming towards the end of the race. Apologies here, I'm cycling through the wrong cameras. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Gio Sakia, though, this is his moment. Can he do it on the KTM straight? This is the best overtaking chance now for Christopher Long. Is he going to have that slipstream advantage? Indeed he is, but Gio Sakia is forcing him to the outside line, but he's going to be able to cut over the nose of Gio Sakia, and unfortunately, if Gio cannot make the defensive attack over here, coming into the hairpin, which gets blocked off by Christopher Young, you can see it in the background, and Gio Sakia locks the brakes, and he sold it on the final corner. Unfortunately, Christopher Long takes it by storm on the final corner, on the final hairpin. It's race number 2 win for Christopher Long. Second position for Gio Sakia. Oratile Motsogotsele comes across third, and Jared Lees comes fourth. Kito Majia in fifth position. He will go with Carl Williams in 6th. Ralph Schuster, our race number 1 leader, comes across in 7th. Michael the Cock, Sean Norse, Dean Jacobs down in 10th. Trevin Paul, the likes of JP Goslet, Omar Khan, Session Governor, the likes of Vanna Yobat, 15th. Daniel Kent, Bilgi Truscott, and our final driver on the grid, Ryan Grigoratos, unfortunately at the backside yet again here in this race. He started up nicely up in front due to finishing off kind of low in the heat number 1. Unfortunately, did not convert. 10 positions down for Grigoratos, and that will definitely be a learner for that heat number 2. But that is officially the racing done and dusted for heat number 2. We head to heat number 3, and as I mentioned, it's a bit of a longer break, and so I'm going to put a 15-minute timer on our screen for everybody. That's a rough guesstimate of how much time we'll have. I'll double confirm and change it if I need to, but do not go anywhere. Well, go somewhere, go to the bathroom, because you've probably been watching this dead straight with all the action. Go get something to drink, go get something to eat, because race number 3, heat number 3, is going to be the most action-packed. We'll see you shortly. And we are officially back for the final race of tonight's events. And boy, oh boy, is it going to turn out to be a good one. 40 seconds to race start. And Jared Leesk has been placed on pole for the random grid order. Ryan Grigoratos, the driver who's had a bit of an unfortunate start to his season here, round number 1 at Killarney. Both races in the past now. A bit unfortunate towards the back end, but now he gets the opportunity to start up in front. And for the likes of Michael de Kock, he's going to be well up in front as well, as we'll try and get a nice TV angle. There it is there. That's the one I want. Jared Leesk will be starting up in front. It is 15 seconds to the race start. A completely chaotic start to this, a completely chaotic grid order, as everything has been randomized. The gantry lights are officially out, getting ready to tick down. It is 4 gantry lights. Jared Leesk will lead this one. It's lights out, and away they will go. Jared Leesk up in front with Ryan Grigoratos on the outside line now, going down towards turn number 1. The question is, will all of the drivers manage coming down? It's chaotic towards the starting line. A couple of drivers off in the background now, as Geert Kia trying to make his way around on the outside. Couple of drivers off though. Somebody's gone off completely. Is that Sean Norse? I believe it is Sean Norse. He's completely off the track. He's not going to be happy about that one. You can see he is very upset about that. Raising the hands there. Somebody's knocked him off circuit, unfortunately, and he's not going to be happy with that one at all. Down to the back of the grid at the starting procedure of this race. Jared Leesk still leads though, and he's already building up a huge bit of a gap right now to Ryan Grigoratos, who is struggling. He's got Michael de Kock, another fast driver behind him, who's trying to work his way around. He's got to watch out though, because Ralf Schuster, our driver who won race number 1, has gotten a much better rotation here in terms of where he starts this race, and he will be starting in 4th position. It is 4 positions up already. Apologies, Schuster started in 8th position. He's made 4 positions gained already, and this is the work he's done. On the inside line now, switches back to the outside, going into the final corner here, coming out of the KTM straight. He's now alongside Michael de Kock. He's going to have the better run though, alongside Ryan Grigoratos though, and over the curbs being forced is Michael de Kock, as all the rest making their way, vanning about in the middle of this fight are Atile Motsogotsele. A bit further behind as well, Kitsumajia trying to work his way around the outside line now, and we'll have to see what the driver can do. Very, very wide indeed, almost over the curbs he goes, as we do see the admins in the background there ensuring everybody's good to go for this race. Jared Leesk gets the fastest lap so far of this race, and Kitsumajia well into this mid-pack right now. Lots of fighting going on. Vanny Obat also in the middle of it, and currently the driver who leads it is indeed Michael de Kock. He manages to get ahead of Ralf Schuster, who's been demoted as well, down to 4th position now. He's in the middle of the chaos as Grigoratos gets back ahead of him, so lots has happened during the first sector of this race. Now remember, it is a very, very short lap here around Killarney. The rest continue to go around, and all of them holding on relatively strong now. Jared Leesk a bit further behind is still trying to make his way, working it as much as he can. 1.3 second of a gap now to Michael de Kock, trying to pull away as much as he can with the time he's been given. We'll have to see if it's going to work out in his favor. Coming into that final hairpin corner though, Michael de Kock will be a bit further behind, trying to make his way out. Van der Vaart up into 4th position now. He's on the backside of Ryan Grigoratos. Doesn't have much that he's got to play for here, and they're going to have to work hard to make this one work. Still pushing on strong though, or at least now Michael de Kock getting the fastest lap, so Michael is definitely finding traction here, and he's going to be pulling up closer and closer to Jared Leesk in the final closing moment. Someone's gone off there. It's someone's completely sideways, and I believe that might be Grigoratos. Indeed it is. He's been pushed off wide on the entrance to turn number 1, and Grigoratos is the driver over there with the red gloves on the right hand side. You can see he's just there pulling his hand up, and unfortunately not happy with that one. Someone else is off as well. Another yellow car. I believe that might be JP Goslet. There he is, indeed it is. JP Goslet a bit further behind in his yellow Cupra. Very unfortunate there. He's lost out somewhere as well. Sean Norse has claimed 2 positions from those drivers who fell off slightly. Derek Truscott is here. He's just on the DNF stage, so apologies about that. He is definitely going to be here next week, hopefully. But back up to the top, Jared Leesk has now lost all that advantage he had at the start of this race, and Michael de Kock is now alongside. You can see Jared Leesk is going to be working hard. De Kock will be on the outside line, diving into the hairpin corner, and Leesk has got the inside. He's holding it as much as he possibly can, and the two of them have already pulled 1.7 seconds away now from the likes of Ralf Schuster. Can they continue to pull it though? That's going to be the question, as we see Ralf Schuster now trying to keep up with the 2 up in front. It's going to be a lot of work he's got to do to try and get there. Kitsumajia, but further behind as well, trying to tail on the backside of Ralf Schuster. He's going to have to work hard though if he wants to get past and into that top 4 podium spot for the top 3. Remember that there is still a mandatory pit stop that is going to be happening here for this race, and that will also play into the effect of what happens, so keep your eyes peeled for that. as it will all turn out and what it's going to turn out to be indeed. Up in front, though, Jared Leask is going to start to feel the pressure. Indeed, he is. He's been feeling it already for quite a bit now from Michael de Kock, but he is getting ever so closer onto the backside of that Toyota Corolla GR, and coming now onto that final right-hander before they head onto the KTM straight. This is going to be all or nothing now for Jared Leask. If he gets the better exit here, he's going to be able to run away, but if not, it's going to give Michael de Kock the run, and indeed, Michael de Kock's gotten the run. He's using a bit of boost. Up onto the outside line he goes, and now ahead of Jared Leask he will go, but Jared Leask, will he be able to attack onto the inside line? Very late on the brakes for Jared Leask. It's going to be contact between the two of them almost, but Jared Leask very late on the brakes and manages to slam it, and he keeps the lead of this race. Very, very good driving coming from the drivers up in front. Michael de Kock, though, will be carrying a better momentum after Jared Leask surrenders all of his energy to that brake, and now he moves up into P1. Going into the next corner, Jared Leask does indeed forfeit it. He does not try and attack it onto the inside line. It's just not worth it, and moves back into second position. Ralf Schuster a bit further behind now will try and gain on this fight, as well as Kitso Magia and Daniel Kent as they continue to work up. I did finally clarify it is indeed Session down here in 17th position, and he's currently trying to keep his car going, the blue Hyundai i30N. And I believe him and Tevin are pretty good friends. They do the endurance series with each other. Tevin's obviously a bit higher up in 13th. He's 7 positions up, and Session is currently 6 positions up. So they've both worked their way up from the backside of this grid, obviously, and they will continue to do so. The rest of them, though, still coming through. Michael de Kock has obviously made his way up into the front, like we saw just about a lap earlier. And now Jared Leask will be trying to keep up with him, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take effort. It's going to be a valiant effort of that indeed. And Ralf Schuster, 3rd position, chasing onto the backside of Jared Leask. Kitso Magia a bit further behind now. Will be under pressure from Daniel Kent. And we can see they're on board of him. What his thought process is going to be like. Daniel Kent is on the backside, glued to the back of that green car. And Magila pulls up onto the outside line now. Kent will hold the inside. What is going to be the thought process here for Kitso? The two up in front, lots of smoke coming from the tires. And Kitso trying to hold the outside, unfortunately loses that position to Daniel Kent, and he moves up into 4th position now. Great move from Daniel Kent to keep it going. Up into 4th he will go, and Kitso loses out on that attack to the podium. But we are almost at that halfway mark already. Yes, that is how fast the racing goes yet tonight. A combined total of 60 minutes total racing, but 3 separate wins to be won here. Christopher Long, 10th position for himself as he moves around the track now, hoping to keep the stride going, but he does have Omar Khan, who's been a bit of a silent runner there in the background. Usually Omar contesting very high up on the standings, a little bit further behind now in 11th position, trying to work his way around the likes of the championship reigning champion from the previous season, Christopher Long, in 10th position, and Omar Khan, both of them from Cape Town. It's the battle of the Cape Townians right now. What can Omar Khan do on the backside of Christopher Long? It's going to be a good push that he's going to have to do here in order to get past, as Christopher Long goes very defensive into most of those corners. Kitso Magia still holding that 5th position. Carl Williams has moved up into 6th now, and he's going to be chasing onto the backside of Kitso, as well as Oratile and Matsuko Tsele. And I actually spoke to him. He's the one who turned his own camera off. He turned it off due to FPS issues, so that's why we are seeing that frozen camera for Kitso Magia. So don't think that it's got anything to do with normal technical issues. It's just he's turned it off just to savor that FPS performance. The virtual cameras do take a little bit of a tank on the systems, but not too much. But obviously we have been notifying a couple of issues there on Oratile's system. He does tend to drop below about 100 FPS, which then gives a slight bit of frame drop on those 120 Hz TCL screens. But as they continue to go around now, Jessica, and remember there's a lot on the line here from Master Drive, the title sponsor of the TGN Pro Series, along with a bunch of vouchers provided by TGN. The drivers are pushing for that advanced driver experience provided by Master Drive. They all go through the next couple of chicanes and corners. Jessica is slightly sandwiched now. Volji Truscott up ahead, but Volji's gone wide, unfortunately, and that's going to leave the door open. Christopher Long is also going to get past now as they continue working through, and Christopher Long is going to make this on the inside now. Volji Truscott, he's unfortunately forfeited it in that prior corner, and on the outside line now through the hairpin they will go. It's a double overtake for Volji Truscott. He's been lost out by 2 drivers there, and unfortunately he's not going to be happy, but he tugs into the pit lane now. Christopher Long comes into the pit lane, and that's going to be the strategy being pulled. Average pit time, that says 9 seconds. It's definitely longer than that from what we've seen in the prior 2 races. Michael de Kock still stays out. Ralf Schuster promoted to 2nd as Jared Leask and Ryan Grigoratos comes to the pit lane. Not Ryan Grigoratos, sorry. JP Gosler, Daniel Kent, Carl Williams, a couple of the top runners all coming into the pit lane, but not for Rolf Schuster. He stays out. Again, about 40 seconds now to the halfway point. Car's about eight laps done on these current sets of tires, and the drivers finding it having to come in slightly earlier than what we saw previously in the two couple of past laps, and so we'll have to see how this is going to turn out. Rolf Schuster is probably going to try and pull the overcut like we've seen him do in the past two races. He seems to be managing that car a bit more. He did have two spins. I did speak to him after heat number 2. He did have two spins on heat number 2, and that's obviously what led him to be so far off the rest of the pack in heat number 2. But now he's up. He's contesting here for another win, and if he gets 2 wins here, that will put him in the lead of the championship standings here tonight. But he's got to work for it. Michael de Kock, another one of the faster drivers, is also working for it incredibly well, and hoping for the best here. And oh, someone's gone off in the pit lane. Who's gone off? Is that Rolf Schuster? Has he made an error into the entrance of the pit? My goodness, that is commentator's curse 101. And Rolf Schuster has made somehow he's made an error coming into the pit lane over the bumps of the pit lane. He's lost the rear of the car and bounces off track into the side pit stop. See, the side pit lane area he will go. Unfortunately, you can't change tires there. You've got to do it on the primary pit lane there. And so Rolf Schuster is going to lose a lot of time in the pit lane just due to that minor incident. And he comes out in 10th position, just ahead of Van der Vaart, who's going to be tailing behind him now. Van der Vaart will be on the attack, though, to get past as they both come out of the pit stop, joining in on that conjoined traffic of Christopher Long and Daniel Kent, who are also fighting each other. 9 minutes left of racing, though, and this is where it's going to get close. Kito Magia gets promoted to 2nd position as he has not performed his pit stop as of yet, nor has Michael de Kock. So both of them taking a slightly more aggressive overcut strategy. Session Governor is currently sitting in 3rd position. He's tailing now, but obviously also again no pit stop performed by him as of yet, so he will have to work for it to try and keep on going. Sean Norse, though, is also tailing there in 5th position, and we'll have to see how that's going to work for him as he goes through the next couple of corners. Heavy braking into the right-hander. Lots of focus in the bottom left there to keep it going. Obviously, he had a huge spin at the start of that race, and it's put him down slightly. But hopefully he can somewhat recover that. Into the pit stop he will go, and unfortunately that is going to drop him quite drastically off on this grid standing. Session Governor's also in there. You just saw him sitting as the rest of the drivers now trying to make their way around. But it is indeed Kito Magia, the driver up in front. He is the overcut lead right now. And unfortunately, once he goes into that pit lane, he is going to drop off quite drastically with the rest of the cars overtaking, with those pit stops already being done. But 8 minutes left of racing now. The question is, after that very odd incident that Rolf Schuster had, where is it going to put him out on track? Oh, somebody else is off, though. Who on earth has gone off up in front? It's one of the white cars. It's Gio Sakia, indeed it is. He's lost it coming out of turn number 1. Very, very odd place to lose the car. And unfortunately, Gio Sakia, that is not going to set him up for a good positioning there in 9th position. Very unfortunate there for Gio Sakia, and he's going to have to work for it to try and make it around the likes of Christopher Long now, who's now up in front of him. So Gio Sakia probably not happy with that one at all. That's not even Christopher Long. I believe that might be a back marker. As here is Christopher Long. Apologies, that was another driver. There's Gio Sakia, who's just behind him now. So this is indeed going to be a battle here. Christopher Long holding that 9th position spot. Gio holding the final spot for the top 10. And so we've got the likes of Daniel Kent and Rolf Schuster a bit behind, who will want to try and break into that top 10. A couple more drivers up in front who still have to come to the pit lane. There they come. Kito Magia, JP Goslet, they all come in. Jared Leask, after pitting very early on in this race, reclaims the lead and moves up into 1st place. Back at where the position where he obviously deserves right now. Michael de Kock, after his pit stops and not obviously losing control and spinning the car like Rolf Schuster, comes into 2nd position. Now Kito Magia somehow comes 3rd. I'm pretty sure I just saw Kito Magia in the pit stop, so that overcut strategy has definitely worked for the driver here, sitting in the 3rd position spot after all the pit stops. He's got pressure from Carl Williams from behind, and he's going to have to try and keep the driver at bay, but it's not going to be too much more work. 6 minutes is all he's got to hold on. It's about 6 laps left that he's got to do this, probably even less, about 5 or so. Can Kito Magia do it? That is going to be the real question, with Oratilia Motsogotsela a bit further behind. And he's trying to also make his way around through the next couple of corners. Apologies there. I saw something come up on the left-hand side of the TikTok live. Not too sure what that was. All is good though. Apologies about that distraction as we continue moving though through the next couple of corners. But great stuff overall of the racing experience here, and lots of lots and lots going on, lots to play for here with all the drivers moving around track now. And it is still Aratile up in 5th position. Jared Leask obviously keeping a nice stride up in P1. Pit stops are all done and dusted for him, but Michael Lecoq will be trying to chase onto the backside. But can Jared Leask confirm himself a race win here in round number 1? That would be a good start to the series for him if he can do so. Kitso Magia, he's got loads of pressure from behind though, because Kyle Williams is not making it an easy one at all for him. And he's not going to make it an easy one for the next 5 minutes. Ralf Schuster has unfortunately ruined his race here with that spin-off in the pit lane, down to 10th position, and most of the pit stops have indeed been finished. So this is unfortunately where Ralf Schuster is going to lie for the rest of this race, unless he can get ahead of Daniel Kent and Giuseppe up ahead, who are both fighting extremely hard for those final track positions. It is the 2 white cars fighting each other now, but it is 2 different cars. It's the Honda, I believe, versus the Cupra Leon as they continue to push around track now. And or maybe actually no, that's the Vauxhall, apologies, not the Honda, it's a Vauxhall. And so that is Giuseppe now on the outside line of Daniel Kent, or Omar Khan potentially. That is Omar Khan though, apologies, not Daniel Kent. So Omar Khan on the outside in the Vauxhall, trying to make it work, but he does get punted out to the right hand side. So Omar Khan looks like he's been struggling a bit here tonight in that Vauxhall, and he's moved down. But there we go, Michael Lecoq gets himself the fastest lap of this race, and on the backside of Jared Leask now. The next 4 minutes is going to be absolute chaos between the top 2 here. Back and forth fighting to determine who's going to get the win of this race. It is going to be a lot to play for here between these 2. We'll have to see how it's going to work out for them. Jared Leask, Michael Lecoq. It is getting very, very close between these 2 drivers. We'll have to wait and see as apologies about that one. Again, I saw something on TikTok, but we're all good. And we'll have to see how this is going to go on for the rest of the drivers. But Michael Lecoq, Jared Leask, this is the fight. 3.5 or so minutes left to go of racing to Michael Lecoq and Jared Leask, apologies. Kitso Magia a little bit further behind in 3rd position with Kyle Williams tailing behind him. It is still a long battle for these 2, and they've got to work for it. But Kyle Williams has dropped off, unfortunately. He was on the backside of Kitso Magia. Aratile Motogotele, also complete drop off there from Kyle Williams. And you can see that behind leader stat right now. It's a good 5 or so seconds from Aratile to Michael Lecoq. So good 3 or so seconds from Aratile to Kyle Williams. I've heard someone shouting down on the floor again. So has somebody had a spin somewhere else again? Trying to see if it's... no, not sure. Norse, we've got a camera on him. Maybe it could be the likes of Dean Jacobs. Trying to find where he is out on track. Mr. Dean Jacobs, 12th position there. He's in a bit of a clear running, so definitely not him. Not too sure who's had a bit of an upset there out on track. Michael Lecoq, though. There we go. I know who it was. It was Jared Leask who was complaining because Michael Lecoq has gotten ahead in the first sector of the couple of corners there, and now he's going to try and fight in these final dire moments. But Kitso Magia is going to be on the backside now, trying to find a way around as well. Into the 3-way fight they will go. The more the front 2 fight, the easier it's going to be for Kitso in the Vauxhall to try and make his way up and contest Jared Leask and Michael Lecoq. It is going to be a close one between all of them, though. Kitso is closing in ever so closely, and as you can see there, Jared Leask was not happy with that overtake. I'm not too sure if it was a bit of an unclean overtake or if he's just genuinely upset of losing the pole position there, especially in the final dire moments. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, the final couple of laps, 2 to 3 laps left to go. And Jared Leask has got to do something here to get back up in front, but he's got to do it clean, he's got to do it legal. He cannot do something overly aggressive that's going to forfeit the driver up in front into a terrible mistake. 2 minutes left of racing, left to go now. This is the second last lap of racing. Jared, you've got 2 laps to do what you need to do. Kitso, you've got 2 laps to do what you need to do, and Michael needs to hold for the next 2 laps. Kyle Williams a bit further behind as well. He's trying to work his way up. Sean Norse will try and also do what he can down in 18th position. Unfortunately, he has not had a good race here tonight. Obviously, a bit better one in race number 2 and race number 1, but race number 3 proving chaotic, like I mentioned, for Sean Norse. Session Governor also just not having the best of races there in that Hyundai i30N, and all the way down at the back of the grid now. He's going to have to do quite a lot to do anything here, but it is very late into this race, unfortunately, and not much that he can do here with the time left to play for. Vanio Berg currently sitting in 13th position with Dean Jacobs up in front. They're all trying to make it 10 positions up for Dean Jacobs, and he's had a much more incredible consistency streak compared to last season. Usually Dean Jacobs having challenges controlling that car, sometimes seeing it planted off in the grass, but he's had so much control here at Kalani, and he's been able to keep it neatly up in front right now. Dean Jacobs is doing an incredible job, but it is officially 50 seconds left. The final lap has been initiated. Michael de Kock still leads, with the likes of Jared Lees now dropping off. The battle is actually going to be between these two behind, Jared Lees, Kitso Mejia. Kitso is closing in ever so closer, and you can see all eyes are on Kitso right now from the members of the TGN staff who aren't currently racing. They are watching to see if Kitso can get past here. Final lap battle between Kitso Mejia and Jared Lees. They've dropped off completely from Michael de Kock, and it's going to take some time if they want to try and get on the backside of him again. But now Kitso Mejia closer than ever before onto the cockpit cam. Can he get a better rotation? Does he have boost left? It's all the factors. He's gotten a much better exit onto the straight here, and as you can see, getting closer but not enough. I don't know. He's going to have to dive here. Jared Lees goes defensive. Kitso on the outside line now. He's going to have the inside going into turn number 1 if he's able to hold it. Unfortunately not, and around the outside he attempts to go. Not enough though, and clips the inside curve, so a bit too much of an aggressive apex arc being taken over there. But for the race winner, Michael de Kock down in Cape Town will win the race, or Durban, unfortunately, I don't know, wins the race this time. Jared Lees gets to hold second. Kitso Mejia gives him a clap of around hands over there. Carl Williams comes across in 4th, Aratile in 5th. Christopher Long comes across in 6th, Jeff Sakia 7th, with Ralph Schuster down in 8th. Daniel Kent, LG Truscott, Omar Khan down in 11th. Dean Jacobs comes across in 12th. Ryan Grigoratos will come across in 13th, with Session Governor just hailing behind him. It is then Tevin Paul. Sean Norse not having the best of races yet tonight. JP Oslet and Vanny Obat, the final car out on the grid. Unfortunately, he seems to have lost it again. I did speak to him. It seems he had a bit of a wheel disconnect in the previous race, so hopefully it didn't happen here again. But that is officially the racing over for the final heat of tonight's racing. And unfortunately, you know what that means? When the final heat race is over, it means the racing in general is over here for tonight. And that officially rounds off. Unfortunately, there's no interviews here, as the drivers all need a little bit of a break down there. As you see, they'll have a bit of a chat with each other. Session and Trevin and Session down there. Ryan Grigoratos on the right-hand side, giving each other fist bumps. Good race. And they'll begin packing up now. But what an absolutely great turnout here for race number 1 of the TGN Pro Series. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here tonight, make sure you come around again. Next week, this time, Thursday, will be the TGN Pro AM Series, so it'll be for the AM drivers. That won't have commentary, but it will have a stream with the cars going around track, so you can definitely view that. And then 2 weeks from now, so this will be a bi-weekly, it'll be every second Thursday would be the Pro Series. And that will be, again, live streamed by myself and here on all the platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. And once again, if you've enjoyed it, come on down to one of the TGN Pro racing simulator stations, TGN centers all across South Africa. One in Joburg, one in Cape Town, one in Durban. Obviously, the Durban one being brand new. So if you didn't know about it, now you know about it. Make sure you make your way down there. Attempt a bit of a challenge on one of the rigs. I believe there is a bit of a challenge going around right now with Master Drive. So make sure you enter on that. Join in on a couple of the other fun series, the Wednesday night racing, the Saturday racing, the Sunday F1. There is so much here to offer. But once again, thank you so much for joining us here tonight for the racing for the TGN Pro Series. Make sure you leave a like, follow, subscribe, whichever the platform standard is. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the TGN Pro Series Pro Class next time around at Donington Park. Have a good night, everybody.